friends, my name is Gabrielle and welcome to FrumiousReads, and I am obsessed with the His Dark Materials series. If you guys do not know this already, then I think it's a pretty important fact that you learn right off the bat. I have a whole playlist, which I'll link up in the cards up here, where I go into deep dives of each of the original 3 books and talk about them as a whole. And then I have also been reacting and trying to keep up to date on all the news that's coming out for the TV adaptation put on by the BBC. So today I'm going to go through the trailer. I've already reacted to it, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend you watch. I will link it in the cards up here and in the description down below so that you can check it out. I'm gonna go through the trailer and analyze all the little specific details so that we can try and make predictions about what is going to be this first season of the His Dark Materials adaptation. Within the first couple seconds of the teaser, we already see Lyra as she is hiding in the closet, or in this case it looks like it's behind a bookshelf of some sort, and she's spying on Lord Asriel as he has his meeting. Now in the books we know that she just kind of like stumbled into the drawing room and was just kind of poking around when Lord Asriel caught her and told her to go hide. I'm hoping that we get to see that scene in full and that it plays out the same way, because I really think that James McAvoy playing Lord Asriel is a really great choice, and so I'd love to see their first interaction as he catches Lyra exploring in the office before this big presentation. Plus it'll be great to see how we our first introduction to him talking about dust and the exploration he had just come back from and tried to convince the maesters of the college to fund his next expedition. So it looks like we're for sure getting that scene just because of the glimpses that we saw. The next glimpse that we see is Lyra as she's running through an alleyway with 2 men chasing her, and she's dressed really fancy. In the book The Golden Compass or Northern Lights, this scene comes from when Lyra is escaping the party that Miss Coulter has thrown, because she started to realize that there's something wrong with Miss Coulter and that she may not be as, she may be more nefarious than she seems. Now remember, the whole introduction of Miss Coulter is preceded in the book by the disappearing children. So, and as we are introduced to Miss Coulter, we know at this point in the book that she is the one who is behind the disappearing children. Meeting Miss Coulter for us in the book is really kind of like we know something that Lyra doesn't. Like the reader knows that Miss Coulter is bad, even though Lyra thinks that she's great. But in the TV show, I'm interested to see how that will play out, because if they want to show it from Lyra's point of view, they may just mention the missing children without necessarily revealing that it is Miss Coulter behind it quite yet. That may come for the final reveal, which is where we see Lyra escaping in the alleyway from the 2 men who are chasing her. I think that'll be interesting to see how they do that. The fact that there is that scene implicates the fact that we will have her living with Miss Coulter at some point, so that we can have that escape scene happen. And then we get a couple flashes of each of these characters being pensive. So let's go with the Mah-ster of Jordan College, who gives Lyra the alethiometer. He's one of the last ones shown, and he's shown looking into the fire. I think that this scene could either be when he's first having his conversation with Lord Asriel, where he's planning on poisoning him, or it could be when he calls Lyra into his office and gives her the alethiometer. Either way, I think we're gonna get one of those scenes. I have a feeling it might be more towards the alethiometer scene, because I feel like right now it's not for sure whether they're going to show the Maester's intentions on poisoning Lord Asriel, and it feels like having that look be during the alethiometer scene would be a more iconic kind of way to reveal that that scene is going to happen. Then we see Lyra in the snow. With this book, there are so many snowy scenes set. So personally, I think that this look where Lyra is in the snow could come from one of 3 different scenes in the book. I think that this is either going to be a scene where she first discovers the child with no daemon. I think that it could be a scene from where she initially gets knocked out of the hot air balloon and then stranded with the polar bears. Or it could be a scene from when she has first arrived at the camp for the missing children, where they're doing the experiments on the daemons. Now we don't really get like much of context, because all those scenes kind of take place like kind of back to back to back, and they're all set in these snowy landscapes. I would bet my money on one of those 3 instances being the scene that we currently see in the trailer. And then we get the iconic James McAvoy in what looks like his study, or what looks like maybe the Mah-ster study. I personally think that it might be from the very end when Lyra walks in with Roger after Lord Asriel is imprisoned by the bears and he has been begging for some child to come or something for his experiment. That's what I'm predicting that scene is from. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you think I'm right, if you think maybe that scene is from another point in the series, let me know what you think. And then we get the iconic Lin-Manuel Miranda. Lee Scoresby. I wouldn't wouldn't be surprised if this is when Lee Scoresby first learns about the prophecy with Lyra and realizes how important she is. I mean, from the like half a second look we got, it looked like he was receiving some pretty serious news. Or it could be when he first goes to free Iorek from the town that's kind of keeping him hostage without his armor. Oh, and then we get my favorite scene. Okay, so this personally, I am calling it because they do give us that growl, but I think this is when Iorek first puts on his armor after he finds it when it's been hidden by the town. And I don't think that they show us Iorek yet because I'm sure that the CGI and all that is not quite finished and the after effects, but the fact that they include the growl in that, just the positioning of how we see the man on the floor, I think that's definitely from Iorek's point of view, and I'm really excited to see when he does finally show up on screen. And then we have a couple scenes where I can't remember where they would be from. We get the scene of the man flying out the window, and we get the scene of Miss Coulter who's firing in her house, which I'm assuming is her house. So I'm thinking maybe that's some kind of conflict that they're showing between Miss Coulter and Lord Asriel. I can't currently find in the book like where those scenes would possibly take place. So I'm thinking maybe it's kind of something that they're adding to the series just to kind of make that conflict more explosive. Because in the book, it's pretty subtle because it's all from Lyra's point of view and she doesn't quite have like a full grasp of everything that's happening. So I can see them kind of expanding a little bit more on how Lord Asriel and Miss Coulter are trying to sabotage each other. So I don't know, if you guys, I would love to know what you guys think because personally I couldn't find anything that related to the book itself that I can predict where these scenes are coming from. But I would love to know if you guys see anything that I don't. So let me know in the comments down below. All right, and then we seem to get the snowstorm. And I'm pretty sure that's when I'm gonna make a bet. It's just a quick glimpse and you don't even see faces, really. But I've slowed it down and I'm going to say I think it's when Lord Asriel is dragging Roger out into the snow to create the dust portal. And then they get the shot of Lyra screaming in the cage right after, or screaming in some sort of enclosure right after. And part of me wants to say it's like, oh, it's obviously a reaction to Lord Asriel dragging Roger, but I don't think that's true. She looks like she's trapped inside somewhere, and in that scene she wasn't quite trapped. She was able to get outside. So I'm going to say that is when they first try to cut Lyra from Pan. So when they're trying to separate Lyra's daemon from herself. And I'm getting so many chills just thinking about it, but oh my gosh. Like, it looks like, I mean, just from that quick, like barely there second glimpse we got, if that is the scene that they're talking about, it is going to be absolutely heartbreaking to see. Like, I'm really excited for this heartbreak because I want to see a great adaptation of this book. And so I'm gonna say right now that I think that's where that scene is taking place because the level of emotion would fit for what is happening, if that is the correct context. Okay, so then we get a couple of really quick rapid fire shots. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and try and guess where I think each shot is coming from because I like tried to slow it down and maybe somebody who's more technologically adept than I am can slow it down more and give us more details. And in these rapid fire shots, I see what I think are the men who come and kidnap Lyra when she's with her troop going through the Arctic, and eventually the men who take her to the camp where the children are being experimented on. Because we see them covered in furs, we see it's really snowy outside, and we see them all kind of approaching in a group. So I think that's when that scene is taking place. And then we see Miss Coulter at the glass. And I think, personally, I don't think that's when she catches them about to experiment with Lyra. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I don't know if she's currently trying to stop them from experimenting on her, or if it's when she's being shown how it works. So I could see that scene going either way. I'm gonna lean a little bit towards when maybe she is seeing that it's Lyra trapped in the cages about to be separated. And then we get the final scene with the alethiometer. And it's just so quick, it's just Lyra shutting it. But I think that is so important to finally include, like, yes, the alethiometer is in this. I don't know when that scene is taking place, but I'm just really excited to see the alethiometer in general. So I know that in this trailer we also didn't get to see a few things. We didn't get to see any of the polar bears. We didn't get to see any daemons. We didn't see any witches. And personally, I think it's because the CGI on those are not quite done yet. I'm hoping by the time we get a full-length trailer that it will be done and we can finally see what those aspects of the TV series will be. But yeah, overall, those are my first impressions and those are my predictions for what we will get in the actual television series. I'm gonna go back and try and do this again once we get a full-length trailer. But I'd love to know what your opinions are in in the comments down below. Please let me know if you think I'm right about any, if you think I've completely missed the mark on some, and if you want to check out all my other his Dark Materials things that I've talked about before, then I check out the links in the description and in the cards. But for now, that's all I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload bookish videos twice a week, as well as reaction videos whenever something cool comes out that I want to react to. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.